Peace, Black family. Just like I said yesterday, I want us to discuss, talk the white man, matriarchy, feminism versus patriarchy, and the plan to eradicate the black man. Now, let me put to your attention once again, what was the white man's plan against the black man? In Africa, it wasn't about colonizing the black man, as classical literature have actually made it to seem like. It wasn't about enslaving the black nation. The plan was to exterminate the black man and the black race in particular, so that the whole world can only have white people dominating this black nation. Proof is, when they came, the first thing they had to do was to destroy the black community. Now, let's trace back the role of black people in the whole world. What have we done to the world? Black people have introduced civilization to mankind. We have built pyramids in the kingdom of Kush, pyramids in Egypt, pyramids in Aksum, present-day Ethiopia, pyramids in the Songhai Empire, in Timbuktu, the first universities. We have introduced mathematics. That's why white people today did not even understand mathematics, because they didn't introduce no goddamn mathematics. We have got documented evidence in the Libombo bone of Mpumalanga, present-day Swaziland. No. In Swaziland. The Libombo bone is dated 35,000 years, whereas the white man's civilization is less than 600 years. That's why today they tell you to solve X in maths, but they cannot really interpret the meaning and the duty, or rather the role of mathematics. Now, I'm not going to dwell much into African history. Let's focus on the origin of patriarchy in Africa. And this particular version is dedicated to my Facebook friends. Understand, today we have got feminism dealing with patriarchy. It's completely a wrong idea. It's anti-black. Both patriarchy and feminism are both anti-black, socially configured by the white man. Black people used to employ a system that is known as matriarchy, which means the females were the most dominant in the community. Now, why were the females dominant? They were not dominant because there was a power relationship, or we believe that women were more powerful than men. It was not a competitive thing. It was not a power thing. But what did we believe then? And proof is there. That's the reason why I'm saying this is actually dedicated to my Facebook friends, because I've written about African queens. There were more than hundreds of African queens long before. Now, this because we believe that women are reproductive. The males give a seed and women reproduce. Now, a male gives a sperm and a woman reproduces and gives a nation. Now, what was the role of women? Women were doing farming and the growing of crops. Do you know why? Because they reproduce. So we believe that role which speaks to their biological spirituality. It is spiritual for women to grow crops. Because what do? You give them a seed, they reproduce a nation. Then, therefore, if you give them a seed, they reproduce. farming and productivity. And not only that, they understood cultivation and the science of agriculture long before white people even understood. And what did we do? What was the role allocated to men at that time? In most tribes, men, based on their masculinity and the energy, physical trait, said, well, they can go hunting, construction, and all of the physically demanding jobs. Also, psychologically demanding jobs, multifaceted in that instance. And we also had kings. Now, talking about what happened, patriarchy is a European concept. It came with the Europeans. When they came, I think it was David, I'm not sure if it's David Darrington, a white male. Read about him. I do believe myself that white people didn't introduce a Jesus to black folk, but they introduced and coined a religion under the teachings of Jesus Christ and misconstrued the miseducation in 1690 when they came here. Islam and Christianity were used to promote patriarchy and deity in the basis of the white male figure. Jesus, they said he was white, and now he had 12 disciples, both were males. And not only that, you look in the Bible, all the figures which were powerful were males. And all of, you've got the woman who was a sinner in the Bible, and therefore Jesus went to drink water to her, but she was a woman. Now, they demonize women. And therefore, because they believe white men, that's why even today, when you're talking about white monopoly capital, you're talking about a male-dominated economic fraternity. You're talking about the Freemason, you're talking about males. You're talking about Illuminati, you're talking about males. So patriarchy is nothing black. Now, there is feminism. Feminism. Before we go into feminism, I want us to talk about very simple things. When white people invaded black people, what did they do? To destroy a black family unit, you had to actually embarrass a man. You rape a woman in front of the man. The man couldn't do anything about it. And therefore, in front of the children, you cut down the man's penis. You castrate the man in front of his family to destroy masculinity in the black family. At the same time, you turning your woman into a sexual object. What did whites again do? Those who spoke against exploitation, those men who spoke against exploitation, not only were they men who would cut down in front of the public community, some of them if tongues were even cut down, but they made sure that they preserved your life. So for what? For productivity, because you were supposed to be waiting for the master, working for the master. Now, what was the white man's duty now? You castrate the black man. You rape the black woman and she reproduces. That's why you hear white people today in South Africa saying that the only race they recognize here, the only black people they recognize is Khoisan. You know why? Because in the Khoisan community, they have exterminated the male productivity. That's why most of the Khoisan today are found in colors. They make sure that the black woman has to reproduce something that looks like them, and you eliminate anything that doesn't look like you. Now you end up having a mixed breed that represent whiteness. Now, so what was the white man's duty? They were raping women as if women were nothing. They were abusing the black women. What will happen? A black woman will be raped in the kitchen. And then when you are raped by the master, after being raped, a master's child come to the kitchen and ask for a blowjob. And then when you are busy doing a blowjob, a master come and find you doing a blowjob to the child, tell you to stop and beat you off, cut down your legs. And then the master's child, the following day, come to you to finish you off and say, why did you stop, Ijori? So what is the black man doing today? After being colonized, after being dehumanized, this is systematic. We say patriarchy is a systematic domination of the male. What system did we have pre-colonial Africa that had women being dominated by men. It's white people who invaded the culture of matriarchy in the black community, destroyed the preservation of our spirituality in terms of the allocation of duties. And therefore, today, after being colonized, because do you know what white people did? They say, "You're kafir." Say it after me. You had to say, "I am a kafir." And then if you act and behave differently, it's either they kill you, they castrate you, or they burn you alive. You get to be burned alive. Now, when the white man says a woman is nothing but a commodity to you, what will you do? You must treat a woman as much as the white man treat you. So during the day, you are in the plots, working from morning to night, no working hours. When you go home, you have to actually take out your frustration on the black woman. And you ended up turning a black woman into just a non-entity. And therefore, patriarchy was inherently inherited from colonialism itself. Because a system of government today, a system of the community today is based on the white man's expansion. And therefore, feminism was also not a black struggle. This was by white women who say, okay, well, my husband can rape a slave in front of me. I don't love that. Let me influence these slaves, not because they cared about the slave, but because of being insecure that another woman is sleeping with my man. But now you have to use the slaves and say, let's fight against this man because men are failing us. And they used the black women. Today we are celebrating the 9th of August, and we are being told by the likes of Helen Suzman. People like Helen Suzman, I'm not sure if it's Helen Joseph or Helen Suzman, were not in the struggle because they care against apartheid. They were in the struggle to tell black women how to respond to white oppression. That's why they were leading the struggle. White people's duty is to dominate blacks. Now, you have got black women saying we are fighting feminism. No. They say they are feminists. I'm not going to deny that black people or the black man is today raping the black woman as much as the white man was raping the black woman. I'm not going to deny that the black man today is abusing the black woman as much as the white man was abusing the black woman. I'm not going to deny that you are impregnating these women and leaving them with babies because of systematic frustration, because that's exactly what the white man wanted you. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, patriarchy and feminism are the same thing. Feminism, if you check this very correctly, most feminists that I know, they're very emotional and very radical. It's no longer about annihilating patriarchy. You do not even understand the foundation and the origin of patriarchy. You can never fight something you do not understand. Most feminists are fighting against the male image as if all men are trash, all men are bad. Now the white male and the white woman have created a nation whereby feminists will fight for feminist rights. Now, coming to the psychological and the physical emasculation of the black man, I understand. I'm not going to be anti-homosexual. I believe that homosexuality exists, and I'm not, what is this, homophobic? Whatever you call it. But I'm going to tell you that part of inculcating the gay culture is this thing of emasculating the black nation. Now you have got people calling themselves LBGT. They fighting for their rights as a separate organ from the black community. Women fighting for women's rights. And then men are separate. Systematic frustration kicks on, and all of us will be fighting against each other. And that is a plan to exterminate the black nation. The white man will no longer be now coming to your community and actually killing the black man in front of the black woman and raping the black woman in front of the babies and the black man. But he's actually, through psychological onslaught that was launched as soon as they realized that they were losing power, black people are used against their own demise. And this is the plan. And I told in my book, I'm Still a Kafir, that things like Yizo were not necessarily serious. They were there to fuel gangster life in the black community. Because you think TV is just a program you're just watching. That is a psychological object. It's a transitional. Everything you see on TV, you internalize. You usually say they're acting. But why are you getting afraid when there's a horror movie? Meanwhile, you know that they're acting. Why do you cry if there's an emotional scene if it's just about acting? That is spiritual, psycho-spiritual dynamic to actually destroy the black community. In each and every story, there's an element of the black family dysfunctionality. They are promoting the culture of easy cotton. They are promoting the culture of dancing. Black people do nothing than dance. Things are at stake now. White people continue to exploit us, but what do? We dance to Dr. Malinga. White people continue to be good in exploiting blacks economically. Indians are now consolidating economics in the black community. Black people are good at dancing. Gwara Gwara, Dr. Malinga, and every style that comes, we're into fashion. So this is the plan to exterminate. As much as we are not independent and strong as a community, we are exterminated. Even if we leave, we are just moving objects and do not threaten anyone's existence in this part of the world. We consume. We like dancing, we like jiving. Now there's a blesser and a blessee culture, and all of the dysfunctionality. We get frustrated systematically much that we kill, we rape, we break in houses, we hijack cars because there's frustration. The whole country is upside down. And if we do not save our blackness, if I see a black man, a young black man, being disrespectful, I'm not going to say that boy is trash. I was once robbed by a black man in the street of Johannesburg. They say charity begins at home. Why are you as a parent doing as a male figure in the house and as a mother? What are you doing? If you say all men are trash, all of these boys come from households. Some of you are saying all men are trash and you didn't manage to raise your babies well. You keep telling your babies that you are stupid, you are useless, you will end up just like your father. And therefore they end up like that. We need to make sure as the black community that we come together. This thing of saying women are the same, men are the same, that's bullshit. These people didn't give birth to themselves. We give birth to them. If we want to stop it, we need to be able to come together. Say peace and black power. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening, family.